Well, thank you for joining us today for Coaching Tips for the Christ Life. I'm Wayne Hudson.
I'm Jeremy Tillman.
And man, here we are with the Word of God open and asking God to use us to speak a truth today. You know, in James chapter 1, verse 5, Jeremy, it says, "But if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God who gives generously."
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think what we see there is that we all need wisdom. We all stand in need of wisdom. And that God is the source of wisdom, which I think we struggle with because we look for it in the wrong places. But biblically speaking, what is wisdom? How would you define wisdom as it's used in this text?
Yeah, wisdom, I would say, and I've studied this, and one of the ways that it was defined to me as through study is that it's the ability to discern or judge what is true, what is right, what is lasting, and it's different from knowledge.
Right.
You know, one of the things that when as we've been walking through James here is that I use as an example to try to give the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing how to use a gun. Okay. Wisdom is knowing when to use the gun.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a way that I've kind of, teach that. But, wisdom is something that when it gets down to it, wisdom comes from God.
Yes, it does.
And it comes through having that relationship with God. And just as you read here in verse 5, we lack wisdom. The context here is even in the middle of a trial.
Yes.
And we need that wisdom.
Yes.
And so how do we get wisdom? We ask God. And I love the promise here that's in verse 5 because it says that He gives generously to all without reproach.
Right.
And He says He does it, and so that's huge.
So if we lack wisdom, we need to ask for it.
That's right.
Because God is the source of all wisdom. Yeah. And you defined it as what is true.
Yeah.
And don't you think that also wrapped up in that wisdom, in the definition of wisdom, is being able to take that truth, which comes from God, which is in line with the Word of God, and applying it to my everyday living.
That's right.
Because one of the things that we've talked about the book of James is it's so practical.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's a lot of really practical stuff to apply to life today in the book of James. And I would say that, man, as we ask for wisdom, and we need to ask, when God gives it, we take it and we apply it to everyday life.
That's right.
And that's wisdom. Yeah. And we're all stand in need of wisdom. Yeah. Man, we hope you have a blessed day. And today we encourage you, if you lack wisdom, ask God, because God gives wisdom generously to those who will ask Him for it. Seek wisdom from the hand of God, because He is the source of all wisdom. Have a great day. Let Jesus be Jesus in you today as you seek Him.